Hey, hello folks. I'm Captain Kimo, and most of you already know who I am. But for those of you who don't, I own a tour business, a tour company, and I've been doing cultural charters for a very long time. In fact, I'm also a kupuna. I'm a Hawaiian cultural practitioner. I'm a maritime officer, a licensed captain. I retired in 2012 as a tugboat captain for oil and fuel in Hawaii. But my experience stretches way back. So this is the huakai. The huakai is the journey. In the 60s, I started working on Oahu at Heiakea Pier. This is when it was just being dredged. And I worked for a company called the Coral Gardens. We had a glass bottom boat. That was my first experience. I was real young. Then from there, I started working on the aqua boats as a commercial fisherman. Then I worked in Kona in the 60s on the fishing vessel called the Puakai. This was before the Honokaha Harbor was even thought of being developed. And I worked on a fishing vessel, the Puakai, with a legendary captain by the name of Rope Nelson. That in itself is another story. Then from there I started doing commercial fishing throughout the 80s and salvage diving, and I continued all the way up until now. So right now I'm still doing the commercial charter business with Hawaiian cultural and ethnic awareness tours. I also have coordinated the ocean and beach cleanups and the ocean cleanups. The ocean cleanups was scuba diving and removing fishing line, fishing hooks, and fishing lead from the reef, so our turtles don't and fish don't get injured. So that's the huakai, the journey. So the ho'ina is basically, what do I do to give back? What I have been doing to give back to the community. So with my experience, what I've done in 2013, I wrote what was called at that time the Harbor Bill, or Senate Bill 596 and House Bill 633. That was to help protect our ocean environment, to malama, to care for our ocean here in Hilo. So any black oil fuel barge that came in, you needed to put a containment boom around it. Well, anyway, that didn't go over well at all. It was actually called a financial irresponsibility. But the reason being is that at that time, the funds that was used for pollution prevention was actually being allocated or going into the general funds for the state. So the state was using those funds not for what it was supposed to have been used. So anyway, that was one of the issues that I did bring as far as giving back. I've also, as far as a kupuna and cultural practitioner, I've helped to bless houses, people, and also this past January of 2024, when the Vietnam Veterans Hall of Healing, the memorial wall of healing, the healing wall, came to Hilo, I was the one who blessed it in Hawaiian. And so through my huakaian experience, now I'm able to continue to try to give back as part of my ho'ina. I've also given back to the community by being at hospice for 4 years, playing music for those who are in hospice care. So the reason why I'm bringing all of this up into the open is because, is because I've always felt a need to care for the Aina, to malama the ocean, the moana, and to malama each other, to care for each other. And so there's an issue right now that is being presented. It was introduced into the legislature, and it is Senate Bill 2156, and that has to do with the dredging of the harbors. And the harbor that I'm talking about is located here in Hilo. And you're looking at it right now. This is the Wailoa Small Boat Harbor. And what's happening is the entrance over here at the Wailoa Small Boat Harbor is being shoaled. In other words, when the tides come in and the tides go out, the sand keeps building and building and building until none of the boats can come in or out. And so that's the problem that we're having. So what I did was, I wrote an informative statement and introduced it to our council member. Her name is Jennifer and she was able to take that and send it over to Linda Ichiyama. And Linda Ichiyama is the representative, the state representative in the legislature for water and land. So, with that being said, what's happening right now is there's a letter to request a hearing so that we as community members, we as business owners, those who this affects on the Wailoa Small Boat Harbor side, as far as boating goes, those who are affected by it can now present testimony, and we are trying to get a hearing scheduled, a community hearing. So that's what this video is all about. Is try to stir up the interest of those who, and also get the word out for those who will be affected by this shoaling of sand. Now, supposedly anyway, from what I've been through with the DLNR and DOE Board, Department of Ocean and Boating Recreation, is that there was a contract that was supposed to have been designed and coordinated by the Army Corps of Engineers to have this entrance dredged. The contract lapsed, and so now there's so much sand here that at low tide it's almost impossible to leave this harbor. So the effect that it has on our tourist industry for one, and also our local industry, those who rely on this area to take their boats out and go fishing. And for us who are in the tourist aspect or side of the boating industry, commercial boats, and this is what we are. We're a commercial operation. We take people out fishing. We also take them on Hawaiian cultural tours. We also do ash spreading ceremonies. We do ethnic awareness tours. So it has a pretty bad effect when people come over, not just tourists, but also local people alike. And we can't take the boat out because we can't get out because of all the sand, because the money that we pay for, the fees, are not going to where it's supposed to be going. So anyway, the reason for this video is to make people aware of what's really happening and to get everybody together so that we can become a voice. And so it's always been a care of mine to malama the ocean, malama the Aina, help to malama each other. And so the Senate Bill 2156 will address that issue. The thing about it is, though, we need to get a community hearing scheduled. That's the reason for this video. So this is going to be put on YouTube with the information of how you can direct your interest, your comments, testimonies, or your feelings to a certain email address and a certain representative that hopefully will be able to get a hearing schedule so that we can make it known that we need to get this issue resolved as soon as possible. So that is the conflict. The conflict is the shoaling of sand that needs to be dredged. The whole entire area needs to be dredged. It needs to be removed. It needs to be widened. We're being charged for the slip fees, for registration, so we have to pay all of these fees, but if we can't perform what we are paying for, that becomes a breach in our contract that we have with the state. So, in the video, underneath the addresses, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the email of where you can send your comments and where you can send your testimony and any other comments or ideas so that we can have a community hearing scheduled. In this video too, I also would like to invite the candidates for mayor, those who are going to be the Hawaii County mayor candidates, because this is the Big Island. And my ancestry, I was born and raised here. My ancestry goes way back. I've traced my ancestry back to 252 BC, this island. So this island means a lot to me. And all the care that goes on, or should be going on, cares a lot to me as well. And this is why now it's time to Onipa'a, and that's what I'm doing. So I hope that this video will help to invite not only the mayoral candidates, but also those who are involved in Wailoa Small Boat Harbor to make a stand. Make a stand, make a statement, make a comment, testimony, and I will provide the email address of where these will go so that we can get a community hearing scheduled. Other than that, I want to thank all of you folks who know who I am, and I want to thank all of you folks for being a part of this huakai, this journey, as you watch us present ourselves to do the ho'ina, to give back to the community. So it's basically kind of a malama hui, the malama hui. I'm Captain Kimo. Once again, I invite you folks to make a stand, make a statement, and have a wonderful day. Aloha.